Welcome to the Callback Countdown podcast. I'm Joseph Maxwell, currently producing a musical that I wrote, which is crazy. And I wanted to share the story of how it came to be. So I'll be going back through my whole life and pinpointing all the people, places, and moments that led indirectly or directly to this. And today I'm joined by Maggie Saylor. I first got to know Maggie when I cold emailed Blank Slate Illyria trying to get on a show at some point, and they messaged me on Facebook and booked me on something. I don't remember specifically what, but that was essentially my introduction to the DIY music community in Northeast Ohio. Also, that show is where I first met Ben Walglamuth, so huge, huge for me there. And eventually I joined Maggie's band, the Bears and the Bees, which was truly a dream come true to be part of that band. And this musical very specifically would not be happening without that what was huge. Maggie introduced me to this world of DIY music in the Cleveland area and inspired me to continue writing songs and made me a better songwriter like every time we collaborated. So thank you so much for being here, Maggie.
Yeah, I thank you for having me.
So
Very
my
happy to be here.
so my first question, how did you first get into music?
I was kind of always um around it. My dad was a musician. He was in a band when my parents first met. And he played shows with his band all growing up. And even now he still has like a little band that he plays with at bars and stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, he was just kind of always playing guitar. Every holiday, everybody would grab guitars and like sit around and sing and stuff like that. So it was kind
That
of
rocks.
yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer, but I honestly kind of stayed away from it when I was young, and my brother was more in, invested in music,
Hmm.
and I wanted to get into film. I wanted to set myself apart, I guess. But when I was like 16-ish, 15, 16, something like that, ukuleles were a big craze at the time. Um, and so me and my dad went and got ukuleles. And that was really easy for me to learn how to play and write on. So I did that for the majority of my like adolescent s- songwriting career. Was It was all just like written on ukuleles. And um, I met some friends that were into folk punk, and that's how I kind of got into like the DIY side of it all. And that would eventually turn into the Bears and the Bees, essentially. So
Heck yeah. Yeah. So my dad was also a musician. He was in a jam band local to Cleveland, which I'm going to talk about in this series at some point because dad musicians make child musicians. It
it's
happens.
true. It's true. Yeah. I always wanted, my dad likes to tell a story about me running downstairs with like sunglasses on and saying, "Play me some music, music man." And that was just like all the time.
Yeah.
That was like our favorite thing. My favorite thing to do with my dad was just to listen to him play the guitar. And I think that made me want to play the guitar.
That's amazing. And yeah, I have a daughter now, Rosemary. She's 2. And the funny thing is, she doesn't really like when I play the guitar. She usually says, "No, Daddy-o, no." She calls me Daddy-o. But she does like to listen to the recorded versions of my music. Like she likes that.
Hmm.
So I think we'll get there. I think we'll get her to like live music eventually.
Yeah,
Just
it'll happen.
yeah. But the generational music is a really cool thing. I was also I grew up in Hawaii, so the we called it ukulele, which is the
Sure.
Hawaiian pronunciation.
The correct
Which like well,
pronunciation.
but like every time I say it, I feel embarrassed to say it that way. But we that's like instead of recorder when we were in fourth grade, that everybody played that. Like that was just, and it is definitely like a gateway drug to songwriting because it's like you can play 3 chords and you can write some lyrics and you got a song and
EGF,
it
baby.
it's
Yeah.
it's sick. And yeah, and then I also had the folk punk uh just because I was an angsty kid and I wanted to play pop punk, and I was like, I only have an acoustic guitar, so what am I gonna do? Just,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And there is
Exactly.
one song in the musical that I think I would characterize as folk punk.
Oh yeah.
At least influenced, it's a little front bottoms esque and a
Oh
little
sure.
like AJ adjacent, I might say.
Wow, that's
That
so
I
good.
just came up with that. Actually, I'm gonna,
Off the
yeah,
dome.
yeah, just naturally. Sick. So, as a musician, you did more than just play music because you were like the booking person or part of the booking for Blank Slate. So, how did you get involved with Blank Slate and that community?
Yeah. So I okay. So through my dad was friends with lots of local bar owners and things like that, and he would, play shows at bars and get paid to do that and stuff like that. But I was not a musician when I was like a freshman in high school,
Hmm.
right? But I was interested. My friends started becoming musicians because naturally that's the kind of people that I would have been hanging out with.
Hmm.
Um, and they would um, talk about playing shows and stuff like that, but who's booking kids, like
Mm.
it's at least where I'm from in Youngstown, Ohio, there wasn't a ton of places for us to like play shows, right?
Hmm.
um and I was talking to my dad about it, and we kind of together came up with this idea where like once a month this bar would let me have we called it $3 and three bands, and I would pick three bands I would find three bands in my school that wanted to play this, and then um it was $3 at the door, which is really a steal when looking back. I felt greedy doing it like before, because my dad admittedly did insist that we keep some of the money, but most
Hmm.
of it all went to the bands. Like I had like a very small portion that I kept, and I think I usually just gave it out to them anyways.
Hmm.
Um, which is how we did it at Blank Slate. We didn't keep anything,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we couldn't. We had to pay. We wanted to pay them better, but um, yeah, It was cool. I got to do that like once a month for like a like a year probably. Um, and it was really fun. And then when it started to kind of die down, I kind of lost the interest in it. But that was my introduction to doing it, and like making flyers. Like my friends would make flyers too, and we would hang them up around the school. Um, and then after I started playing, um, I started kind of hanging out with those same people more often again. And they would have house shows, and they
Hmm.
would take me to shows in Pittsburgh. And we would go to like the Roboto and stuff like that. And I just loved being in that world again. And so it probably wasn't until after graduation that I got really heavy into booking shows again. I had this apartment in Youngstown where we had like it was like a pool house essentially. There was like a pool for the apartment complex, and you could rent out the pool house for like parties and stuff.
Nice.
But it was like free. So
Hmm.
what I would do is I would just rent the room for a night, and I met friends through playing like house shows and stuff, and they would come to town, and I would book them at the clubhouse, is what we called it. Um, Completely free BYOB shows. We had donation um, jars and stuff like that, and I would very aggressively run around and ask people for money. I ended up that's where the Bears and the Bees, like the first Bears and the Bees show ever happened.
Wow.
When it was just me and Caitlin, and it was at those shows that like I kind of got to know her and like become better friends with her, and end up making a band together and like wanting to do that together. Um, and it was just really fun. It was free. It was something I was doing it like more and more often, like all the time. Um, and then I got, I started, it's, I started kind of falling through the cracks And so that's when I moved to Cleveland and I stopped booking shows.
That's
But I
what
still had,
happens.
yeah,
People
right.
move to Cleveland, fall through the cracks. It's a yeah.
Yeah. So, I was like, maybe I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like maybe it's too like it's just it became too overwhelming.
hmm
Um, but I still had like a bunch of friends that I met through doing that. And I met my friends in the band. Um, one of my friends in the band Old Soul. And then they started just kind of staying with me in Cleveland when they would come to visit. Um, and one year they got booked at Blank Slate, which I had never been to.
hmm
I live, I mean, Blank Slate was like 20, 30 minutes from us. So it
hmm
wasn't easy to get there. I didn't even have a car at the time, I don't think. And but I had gotten one. I got one like very shortly after. Um, but they didn't show up to the show because their van broke down. So I
Dang.
was at this venue that I had never been to before, completely alone, waiting for my friends to show up,
Oh my
and
God.
they weren't. And Eddie was over, like clearly like texting them and like being like, "Where are you guys?" I
Yeah.
was texting them and being like, "Where are you guys?" And like we were, and so eventually I was like, I think I might be more informed of what's going on right now.
hmm
Because I was texting a different member of the band, and the member that I
Mm.
was texting was more responsive than the person he was texting. So I went over to him and we just kind of bonded over that. Um, and I told I while we were talking, I told him that I do play a little bit. I do write some songs and stuff like that, but we hadn't been active in a long time. And he's like, "You could play here," and I was like, "Okay, I guess." And we did like one show there, and then he made some post on Instagram about just about being overwhelmed and needing help. Um,
hmm
and so I don't know, I just kind of threw myself out there, and I was like, I used to do this. I bet I could. I think I could do it again. And we
hmm
met at like some Starbucks, and we talked about it, and then yeah, I just started helping him out with the booking and just running shows on days where he couldn't or just needed the night off or whatever. Um, and yeah, I think if I remember correctly, the first show that I ever like ran
hmm
was in fact the one that you played.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I remember freaking out because and I didn't have a sound. I didn't know how to. I never knew how to do sound because like I would
hmm
use my dad's soundboard at the clubhouse if we ever needed to do electric, but we mostly did acoustic shows, and he would just do it for me. So I never learned how to do it, so I was kind of freaking out because I didn't realize that that would be a part of it. Um, and so Eddie had put out a Hail Mary of like, is anybody able to help out run sound? And Ben, who I didn't know at all, was like, yeah, I got it. I also didn't have a key yet. So I had to wait for Ben, who was late,
Oh
to
my
let me in
gosh.
because he was driving from Kent at the time.
Whoa.
Um, and then, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was all the same show, if I
That is
remember. Yeah.
It's also I have no idea. I definitely remember that. Like I remember meeting you and meeting Ben. I do not remember anything else about who was on the bill or anything like that on that
That's
show.
that's the thing is I'm sure if I looked back I could figure it out
There's got
pretty
to be a
easily.
Facebook event or something that
Yeah, a calendar, a blank slate calendar if we actually posted one that month, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man. This is the problem with doing this is that it's making me yearn so hard for like just blank slate was such a special place.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get Eddie to talk to me also and hear even more about like all of the blank slate stuff. But like to me, that is like the origin of my existence in Cleveland music. I mean, it's Elyria, so it's not Cleveland, but like
Yeah, but no,
it's
same. Yeah.
yeah, it's so huge and such a special place.
Yeah.
The yeah, the clubhouse sounds so rock and roll.
It
I
was very
I
it
want to
was
see a
very
show there. That rocks. Do you want to talk any more about like forming the Bears and the Bees and how that started and how it sort of evolved?
Yeah, it definitely evolved to say the least. So yeah, so I used to okay. So I used to play music by myself under the name Flower the Skunk.
Oh, I don't think I ever heard that before.
It's
I
true.
like it. I like it.
Well, I kind of keep it under lock and key because the music is kind of embarrassing, and the name is the name is kind of not the best in my opinion. Um, but whatever. That was just like, yeah, that's what I did when I was playing ukulele folk punk. All the same, all the songs sounded exactly the same type deal. But yeah, I was doing that. And then, like I said, when I started booking these shows, it was becoming harder to find local acts because this was after I had graduated high school. So my friends were all off in college. And I wasn't necessarily booking high schoolers because it was also like my party. So it's
Hmm.
like whatever. Um, so anyways, I ended up just booking myself like for a decent chunk of them. And I kind of
Hmm.
just like, I don't know. I've never felt great playing solo. I had fun with it here and there, but I don't know. I just always thought it could be better. It could be more.
Yeah. Playing in a band is the best.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. But I've never been good at like, I was definitely never good at learning other people's songs because I'm very much just kind of winging it, like self-taught type.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm not very good at like staying in time all the time and stuff like that. So it was a struggle for me when I would play with my friends, play their music and try to join their bands.
Mm.
So starting a band, I think, just made more sense for me in that
Hmm.
way. Um, but I met Caitlin, and she was just always hyping me up, always, and like made me
Hmm.
feel really good. And then one day she just sent me a video of a song she had wrote, and I was like, "Are you like?" Are you actually joking right now? This is like one of the best. This is amazing. This is such a good song. Like I want to play this song. I want to figure
Hmm.
this out. Um, and so we did, and I like, and she didn't play a ukulele. She was a violinist, and she had a mandolin. So actually, the Bears and the Bees was a ukulele and a mandolin, and then we just did vocal harmonies and things. And that was pretty much it. We played at the clubhouse like every week, um, and it was, yeah, some of the most fun I've had writing songs probably ever. We wrote a lot together, and back then too.
Hmm.
And um, then she got an opportunity to join this Christian show choir thing,
As one does.
as one does, and she ended up. And it was a really good opportunity. It meant traveling all across the United States, and you know getting more professional training, and she would get paid for it, blah blah blah. And so she did that. So the Bears and the Bees was kind of done, and
Hmm.
I didn't know when she was coming back, and I was just like, okay, well, I guess maybe it's done. And then I moved to Cleveland. Um, and that happened really quickly. Um, and I just started writing songs. I started writing songs on the guitar for the first
Hmm.
time and learning because I learned about open
I
tunings.
was gonna say, yeah, open D.
Yeah. And I wrote a lot of songs that we continued to play. Like I wrote um, Sober, I wrote Trying, and I wrote, oh, Left, Right. We ended up calling it Left, Right, Behind. That one has several different names.
Yeah.
Um, I wrote like, yeah, a good handful of the songs, just like in my first like month or two living in Cleveland. And I don't know, I started making emo music basically.
Hmm.
Um, and then Caitlin came back. and what was more insane about her coming back was she was willing to drive from Youngstown to Cleveland and play music with me. She like I think the first time she just came and she just visited and I was like, this might be crazy. Should we record something right now? And we
Mhm.
recorded one of her songs, which we did not keep that recording of it, but it ended up being a song on Repeating Your Speeches. Because Repeating Your Speeches was mostly songs from the Bears and the Bees round one
Mhm.
when we were writing on a mandolin and a ukulele.
Mm.
Um, and then a couple of newer ones, but mostly those old ones. And then um, the newer ones didn't come until way later. So Caitlin and I are playing together again. It's awesome. I get to do like a mini tour with her, um, where we played like we did like a weekender basically, and it was mostly in Ohio. But
Mhm.
um, we came back, and then she like went to college on the East Coast and was gone again. And I was
So
like,
sad.
okay. So, but at that point, I was already playing shows with the Bears and the Bees again. Um, and I just kind of started doing them solo temporarily, was the idea. Um, but I got booked with Hit Like a Girl, and I was kind of stressed out about that show because it wasn't just like blank slate where I could just me and my ukulele. Uh,
Mhm.
and it was like it was a show that was like going to go through like a full PA where I don't think I usually used a PA when I played at blank slate. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously we had one, but I think I opted not
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
most of the time. And then um yeah, I was just kind of nervous about it. And Ben and I had become closer and closer friends ever since we started running shows together. And I texted him. I was just kind of like, this is kind of insane, but is there any chance you'd want to like learn some of my songs and like come do this show with me in Youngstown with Hit Like a Girl? And he was like, yeah, sure. And he came over and we practiced one time and then we played this show in Youngstown. And then I
Yeah.
kept inviting him to continue to play things with me
Mhm.
until it was kind of like, well, you're in the Bears and the Bees now. So Caitlin and Ben were both in the Bears and the Bees, but didn't meet for like a solid year.
Yeah.
Um, and then um, there was Jonah wanted to start recording me play because we were friends. We had mutual friends, and they were going to school for recording. So they're like, "Hey, can I use your music to record can I use your music for my recording capstone project or whatever?" And I was like, of course, like you want to use my music? Okay, sure." Because Jonah's a very talented musician themselves,
Mhm.
and they were going to play the drums for the recordings because I don't play the drums. And Ben was coming and he was doing playing, and we changed how we performed a lot of songs in that kind of um, session. Like we changed how Pretty turned into this like big thing, Sober turned into this like welly kind of situation, and that's what like and it changed like all the structures of those songs. And then I kind of was just we needed I was like, Jonah, do you want to just like start playing drums with us sometimes? Caitlin was still on the East Coast. So me, Ben, and Jonah start practicing together a little bit. And we play like a couple shows. And then Caitlin comes back. And then it's like I don't even know if Caitlin was back yet though when we invited you because you would have been the next person.
Yes. I definitely I think Caitlin was there like pretty early when I was at least I met Caitlin pretty quick, I think. I
Yeah.
don't think it took that long.
I think she was back. I think she came back shortly after Jonah joined the band. Um, and then, yeah, you know what? No, she was back actually. I think she might have been back before Jonah joined the band because Jonah recorded a small little demo for us that we shared.
Hmm.
Or that might have come before the capstone project. That might have been before Ben joined the band even. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's all kind of a little blurry how it
Hmm.
happened.
Hmm.
Um but basically, like, I really liked Ben's guitar playing a
Hmm.
lot. And I liked his bass playing. But I really liked his guitar playing. And he was always going back and forth between the two. And then it just and I can play the guitar, but that wasn't my strength. Wasn't my musicianship. It was I wrote the songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I um
That's how I feel too about myself.
Really?
Yeah.
I so disagree with that. I think you're amazing. But that's hence why you had been playing. I talked about you all the time because I booked you for all sorts of stuff. I would always tell everybody, "Oh, Joseph Maxwell, that's my favorite songwriter in Cleveland. Like my favorite musician in Cleveland, blah blah blah." Um and yeah, we had just become friends, and we played a show together that one time. And Ben and I had already been talking about like how we wanted to ask you to join the band. And then you came up to us and you're like, I've always wanted to be in a band. You guys are awesome. This is exactly the kind of band I would want to be in. And we were like, do you want to be in the band? And we were
Yeah.
like, yeah, whenever. And
Yeah.
we kind of did. When I invited you, I invited you to band practice like the next
Hmm.
time we had it, which was like we practiced like every week back then.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember very much thinking, like, I'm gonna invite him. Like, do you think he's actually gonna show up? Like, do you think he's actually gonna come? And you're like, I don't know, because we hadn't really hung out,
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
of Blank Slate, so I wasn't
Hmm.
sure. Um,
Oh, that's so funny.
and yeah, and then you did, and you were super down, and it was super awesome, and it felt, I don't know, it felt easy. It didn't feel like it was difficult to get us all to like mesh together.
Yeah.
And it was just fun. It just worked.
It was so fun. Yeah. I remember very distinctly the moment of like I remember that show because it was Jack M. Semph I think was also on that show and he's really great. And I
Yes.
remember like I have his CD and like that and then it was just a really great show overall. And I remember seeing the Bears and the Bees and like have it the whole time you were playing I was like, man, I would love to be up there playing with them. Like and I remember coming up after and saying that and like I remember the looks on your and Ben's faces of just like oh yeah we were just talking about that
Yeah.
like it
It's
was
crazy.
yeah kismet completely
Mhm.
um and oh man there's so many things I want to touch on but I think we can cover a lot of these things because I really want to talk about Amity, Pennsylvania,
Sure.
which was a very special time. What do you remember from our trip to Amity, PA?
I remember not having internet access.
Hmm.
Um, I remember, I remember people had talked about, like, vaguely talked about COVID hitting the
Coronavirus.
scene,
Yeah.
and we kind of joked about it a lot,
Yeah.
admittedly.
This was what like March 14th, 20 like March
Yeah,
10th,
no, it
2020.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like, yeah. And I remember my mom, my mom had like, because I'd stopped in my hometown on our way there, and she gave me all of that like Jolly Rancher uh branded hand sanitizer
Ah,
from like
yeah.
the dollar store, which we threw away by the end of it because nobody was going to use it. In a way, though, quarantine kings, but when you think about it. Um, there wasn't grocery stores nearby. Like, we were so completely isolated. It was a
Hmm.
beautiful, beautiful house, a beautiful farm. Um, there was that like lake. Um,
Hmm.
and I didn't even record that much because I was just
Yeah.
like, I was literally finishing the songs most of the
Yeah.
time because they
Well,
weren't done.
yeah, I
We
think
could,
we originally I think the idea was we're gonna go and record all the songs for the album, like
yeah,
and there was a lot of recording, but
yes.
yeah, I just remember that being so much fun, and it really felt like for the first time in my entire life, I felt like I had a group of like-minded people that I could like go out into the world and exist in the world. And then COVID happened, so I was like, okay, also none of this momentum matters at all.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was like felt like I mean, it felt like we were about to do something big. It
It
felt like
really
we were
did.
gonna finish the album, for
Yeah.
sure. It really did. And then we came home and immediately they were like, "World's shutting down." We
Yeah.
had one show booked.
Yes.
One show booked. And
It was that Kling thing. I remember
yes,
that. Yeah.
and Jonah, in retrospect, right,
Made the right call. Yeah.
yeah, was like, I just don't feel comfortable playing it, guys. So you, me, and Ben were like, all right, let's just figure out how to do it, just the three of us.
Yeah.
Another show completely, they were like, we're not doing this
Hmm.
show.
Yeah.
So then our show absorbed the other one. And there were so many people. It was
Hmm.
right around St. Patrick's Day. So also, like, all of these college
The
kids
college. Yeah.
started crashing the show. And it was super packed.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane that we did that. Luckily, we all were fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
thank God. But yeah, but we were just so out of the loop.
Right.
We were
Yeah.
so out of the loop.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
quit my job before we left for Anonymity because I was like, my plan was I was going to come back and um, I was going to do a part-time job so that I could focus all of my energy on the Bears and the Bees
Hmm.
and you guys. Um, and so I had quit my job and I was like, I'll figure it out when I get back. Um, and so I couldn't get unemployment or anything. Like
Oh
I
my
was just like,
God. Yeah.
I broke up with my partner at the time and I was still living with him
Uh,
and it was a mess. It was a
yeah.
mess of a thing. But while we were there, it felt like magic.
Well,
It was such a it was such an extreme this than that.
yeah. It
And
truly like it felt like the cusp of something. And one of the things I want to talk about because you talked about writing songs by yourself, and you talked about like writing songs with Caitlin, but at Amity, like that was the best collaborative songwriting process I've ever like so far. It was so incredible to work with all of you to like it was so special.
it was like the best music that I've ever gotten to be a part of
Yeah.
by like a large it honestly breaks my heart that some of those songs might never see like the true
I
light
know.
of day, and that is because some of them are some like there was um like Home Run Road.
Home
That
Run
was
Road. Home Run Road.
Home Run Road, dude.
Yeah.
That was like that's the best song I've ever had any part of.
I
And
think
it's
yeah. Me too.
you literally like I wrote the start of it, and
Well,
then
I wa
you
yeah,
came
yeah,
back and you just completely
yeah.
like wrapped it up with a bow with that chorus, and
Yeah. Well, the secret chorus. Yeah. Well, but I,
yeah.
I like I so this is one of my fondest music memories. I was in the kitchen of the house. You were in the living room playing that riff and like maybe singing. I don't know if the words were there, but it was like the opening riff of Home Run Road.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh my God. That is like a life-changing piece of music right there." It just really felt like and it was being in that house and being to and like the writer's room that we had of just
Hmm.
like working on crafting every little line and every little like thing, all of us working together. It was this makes me well, I guess I don't have to be sad because we all still exist and we can like kind of do something like that again. But it
Hmm.
feels like we can't ever capture that like
Yeah,
again in the same way. It'll never be the same as that. It
yeah. I
was
mean, it's crazy to think that it was 5 years ago. You know,
oh my God. Yeah. Whoa. Feels like
it
yeah.
feels like two tops sometimes,
Yeah.
but like I don't know, like I'm turning 30. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're all you have a kid and you got
Right.
married.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. A
and
lot has
it's
changed.
our lives have completely changed.
Hmm.
I see Jonah more than anyone because I
Really?
see Jonah like constantly. Yeah, because we
That's
work across the street from each other.
okay. That's
Um
wild. I think I've seen Jonah a couple times when I've been like out running and I've just seen them
Oh,
either like sometimes we've been like running past each other like, hey, I haven't seen you in years, but like, hi, good to see you.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
we
just
got
different.
we got to do a Bears and Bees reunion, something. That would be so fun.
That could be
That'd be great.
fun. That
Yeah.
would be nice.
But Home Run Road, yeah, it's special. Well, I mean, what a great title. What a great song title. Also, how I think do we have an official Bears and the Bees roster of everyone who's in the band? Because I think there's like nine at
Okay,
right.
so
What's the yeah? What's the
we've
rundown?
given 9 people. Some of the members are in a way honorary members because
Mm,
they've been just involved in the Bears and the Bees and things like that. I think of the core members as like you, me, Caitlin, Ben, and Jonah. Like those are
mm.
the 5 people
It's
that,
like a band that it's like yeah.
yeah. Um, and but there was also there was the person who recorded repeating your speeches, which is somebody I knew from Youngstown, that was good friends um with Caitlin and I independently, and we were like, "Wait, you know Donji? Yeah, you know Donji," which is crazy. Um, but he's amazing. He's an amazing multi instrumentalist songwriter.
Mhm.
Just very very cool guy. I remember him distinctly because the first time I met him, um, I think he was wearing toe shoes when those were a thing.
Mhm.
Those were really popular. Because I think I was in like high school. He was friends with my brother,
Uh,
but he ended up being on a lot of recordings, and we talked about him coming up and playing shows with us in Cleveland. And so technically, before Ben and
mhm.
before J Max and Jonah, there was Donji. So
Mhm.
um, Donji's kind of an honorary member of the Bears and the Bees, and he even when we were talking about um, recording the new album, I wanted to get him involved in it too to kind of you know maintain
Yeah.
that consistency and also just as I love seeing what anyone has to contribute.
Yeah.
I am so not protective of my music. I want
Yeah.
everybody to come in and try the hand at it. I'm just like this is I'm right at giving bare bones. So everybody
Yeah.
else make it pretty.
That's amazing. I have it's not as easy for me sometimes to let go of like my idea of what I think something's gonna sound like because I just have it in my head. But that's a
Yeah.
beautiful approach to it. And you get so much cool stuff when it's like pure open collaboration.
Yeah. And I think you know, because my songwriting is so basic, because I'm not like an instrumentalist, I think it's easy for people to add layers to it.
Yeah.
So I think it all kind of worked together.
Yeah.
But then
So we're at
so
six
we're
members
at
so
6.
far. We have three to go.
Um, then there is Wes Meadows because
Mhm.
Wes Meadows is
Is
in
in
every
every
band.
band. Yeah.
Every band,
Also,
whether you want it or not, they're gonna be there. And
Ben
I'm
is also in
happy.
every band, but
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's true. Um, but I think she just like came up with a trumpet during our set one day, and I was just like, yeah, no, that's sticking. I love it.
yeah, I think she was at the Kling show if I remember correctly, and it was just like, yeah, natural, like don't have to, or some show with just a trumpet. It's just like, yeah, that's
Yeah, like yeah, she didn't even tell us. She
seamless.
just came up and
Yeah,
did it, and it was like awesome.
just completely seamless.
Mhm. So that's 7. And then when we went to record in Amity, um, we invited Wes, and she was like, "Can I bring John Buka back?" And I was like, "Sure, I guess." And then John came, and it was also
It
awesome.
was that was I think maybe the fastest I've ever bonded with another person. They were saying like John Bukovac's coming, John Bukovac's coming. I was like I have never heard of this person. I don't know who they are. I was a little nervous. I was like, okay, I know all these people. I don't know John Bukovac. And then it was
Yeah,
within 5 seconds we were doing bits about we were, doing
Flavor
accents or
Blasted
something.
Goldfish,
Flavor
and
bet we were the unforgettable bit where I think the
You
goldfish
you were
was our
married,
son.
weren't you?
Yeah, we had a son or a
That
child
you
of some
named.
kind. Flavor
Yeah.
Pez goldfish. It was just like a most immediate connection, and it's so funny how because that connection had nothing to do with the music. It was just like we're just cool and funny and having a good time together. But then musically, also John Bukovac is amazing. Like it was,
Hmm.
yeah, it was just so cool.
Yeah. Incredible. And then there's nine. Who's nine?
Who is the music director for Callback?
Danny.
Yeah,
Danny
there we go.
Boyle.
Yep.
God, I'm an idiot. Yeah. Danny joined during COVID.
Yeah,
Danny
it was
told me,
I don't think I met Danny in person until like 2 years after or something like that. It was
yeah,
like
I was like, because I got to COVID and I was like, that's the end. Why am I forgetting? Why isn't there anyone
right.
there? Where's nine? And then I remembered, oh, because there's one person that joined at like literally at the last second.
Yeah, it
And
was
that's
like
when we finally got our baseball team.
yes, we needed the nine. We
We
needed the
needed
full
the nine.
roster baseball team.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you go to the one show that we played? Wes came, I know. I know Wes was there. I don't think Jonah was there, but it was like Wes, Danny, Ben, me. I think you were there in Youngstown.
I think I was not there. Or was I there? I feel like I remember this show. It was like coming out
It was
of
in my mom's
COVID.
front yard.
Yeah.
So it was like outdoor and it was like for her neighbors. So
Yeah.
it didn't really count as a show,
Right.
but it did and it didn't because we were
Hmm.
outside, so it was like safe and it was like for my mom and whatever and for her like neighborhood. Um but it was like kind of it was weird. Um, but that's like one of the only times Danny actually got to play a show with us. But
Yeah.
we couldn't have recorded Forgotten Man without Danny because like if I didn't have them there to like teach me how to sing that song, like they
Yeah.
like they needed to vocal coach me through like that entire song recording
Yeah.
it because that was a song my dad wrote
Hmm.
and like I don't know. I'm not the I'm not the most I'm not a trained vocalist
Right.
by any
Yeah.
means. I am
Yeah.
definitely
Same.
somebody who's kind of pitchy.
Hmm.
I like to think it adds to my charm, but it was like I was really struggling with it.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
there's so many different types of singing and like ways that you can do it. Like I think your vocal style is like exactly perfect for the songs that you write. Like that, it like knocks it out of the park every time.
Thanks.
But like playing someone else's song is a different
It's
thing.
it's a
Like
such a different thing.
yeah.
Even being my dad and like Danny is just such an amazing like I mean it makes sense. They do have a degree, but like
Yeah.
but
But it's
they're an amazing coach with stuff
yeah.
like that.
Well,
So I can't imagine
yeah.
what they would do. I can't imagine how good they must be doing as the music director for Call.
I honestly I'm seeing it. I still can almost not believe it. Like
Yeah.
just the amount that first of all, just straight up knowledge of everything constantly and how like every little like they just have such an awareness of everything that is musical and then just also the ability though to like connect with individuals and coach them in a way that's so supportive
Yes.
and like helps them get there, doesn't make anyone feel bad, like but also pushes people. Like is not just being nice, is also like wants it to and like yeah, it's been a dream come true. It's been so cool.
I bet. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
You are actually, Maggie, you're the first person I'm actually interviewing for this just because of this how the scheduling happened, but
Sure.
I'm gonna hopefully talk to, all the core folks in the production and like we're yeah, get into all that cool
I'm
stuff.
sure.
Because
I'll be
it's
listening.
yeah, it is funny to, like just thinking about how pivotal and I never really like I know Danny more, and not as a Bears and the Bees member, but just like post that kind of like,
Yeah.
it's been really cool to, but it's funny to think like, oh yeah, they are also in the Bears and the Bees. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great band. It's the best band. It's just the best band.
It's that was the goal, you know. The goal was to be the broken social scene of Northeast Ohio,
Yeah.
but we only ever got to the baseball team. So sad.
Yeah. I think what but if there were a league for bands and then we would crush because no one else has 9 people. I mean, some
There you go.
others probably do, but we would,
There's definitely there's some others, but a lot of
we
people
could,
would have to team up. They wouldn't have the
yeah,
chemistry.
yeah,
Just
right, right. We could field a whole team.
hmm
Uh, yeah. One of the other things, thinking about like writing a song, this is going way. I thought this was going to be 15 minutes, and it's been longer than that.
I'm a
But
yapper. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, this is amazing. But I do want to talk about like how writing a song, because what like for me, writing a song is just me and my guitar, and then
hmm
it's lyrics, it's chords and melodies and stuff, and then seeing that song evolve. You talked about people like being open to anyone adding anything, but what is that experience like for you when you have a song and you see it come together with other people's influence or other people's contributions?
It's the best feeling in the world. I write a song and I feel like pretty good about it in that moment. Um, but I get really embarrassed of them really quickly.
Hmm.
For one, all my
I
lyrics are very hard on my sleeve and very there's not a lot, nothing's shrouded. I'm very straightforward about what's going on. Um, and like I get, insecure about the fact that, again, like I write very basic chord progressions and things. Writing in an open tuning makes it sound has helped out a lot with that. But when I was writing,
yeah.
especially on ukulele,
Hmm.
it felt very repetitive and boring, and it never quite felt like it had that spark. Um, and the first time I ever played with Caitlin, and Caitlin's an amazing vocalist because she just so easily just matched my voice, and like, and I mean my, not like my singing voice, but like my
Hmm.
writing voice, I suppose.
Mm.
And she was able to harmonize with me and add these layers to to the music that um the first time I got to do that with her, it was the first time I'd ever like played music with somebody else and it really felt like something. It was something like a full song, like a real song,
Mm.
not one of my songs, but a real.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then and because like I tried playing music with like my family and stuff, and I always felt, I don't know, I felt out of place, or like I wasn't up for it, or whatever. Um, and then it was the kind of this, I felt that same spark when I played with Ben for the first time. And when I was in the recording studio with Ben and Jonah, like, and we started trying different things with the
Hmm.
song. And I have ideas in my head, but they're not like actual, like, oh, like, and then you play this on the guitar. I'm like, I want the drums to be like boom boom, and or like be like, I want the drums to sound like this song kind of,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
like I want the drums to sound like this feeling. Like I ask for feelings a lot with when I'm doing that, when we're in like the recording process, or like this, like we're trying to figure things out. And it's very rare that somebody would present an idea to me where I wouldn't be like, no, that's amazing, that's such an improvement, we got to do that. I just
Hmm.
want layers on top of layers on top of layers. I almost never think that a layer is too much. And like that just kind of kept happening. um and Ben, I would, for a while I would say that I wrote the songs and Ben arranged them and made them into real songs,
Yeah.
because he had a huge part in that, a huge
Hmm.
part in like making the music sound the way that it did. Because again, it
Hmm.
was just me playing acoustic songs by myself,
Yeah.
or playing like, eventually we became an electric band, which is crazy.
Yeah.
um and I started, I would play little parts, but I really stopped writing by myself because of it. I think because it was just it. I
Mm.
started writing smaller and smaller bits of songs before coming and presenting them to Ben or Caitlin or you, eventually, and then it just became okay. Like I wrote one verse or like the tiniest little riff, and then we would just build around it.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, I guess it's just it's like a spark.
Hmm.
It feels like a spark. It feels like you bottled lightning in that moment, and it's I mean, it feels like the first time you ever smoke weed, you know, or at least for the first time I ever did, I should say.
Not the
But
we'll have another podcast about the first time I smoked weed, because it's a different experience.
there's different experiences.
First and only time. Yeah.
Sure, fair enough. Well, I mean, it's like, you know, it's like that feeling of like when you're dreaming. I mean, it's just
Hmm.
like things. It's real, but there's something different going on.
Yeah, but I think it's like transcendent because I've
Yeah,
been thinking a lot lately about how language, allows us to communicate, but it also limits us in some ways because like you can't say everything with words, but music I think is bigger than that. And when you have those feelings and that you can connect to somebody at a different level than you could if you were having a conversation or even like, through physical touch, it's like the sound connection is so magical in a different way that I can't explain it, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah. I think that's why I write. I mean, I think that's why I write, songs about feelings.
Hmm.
Is because like I am so bad at explaining these things, and I'm a yapper, but I keep struggling to actually describe things, especially my feelings, and I have a lot of big feelings all of the time. I'm
Hmm.
a big time feeler, and um
Yep.
I've never been good at explaining it. It's been a long standing like criticism about from my like friends of just like me not being great at talking about my feelings.
Hmm.
And I still can't do it. I still struggle to do it with my partner and my family, and processing emotions and things like that, and then playing music, and then to have other people be like, I know the exact feeling that you're writing about and trying to describe, and then you guys were able to sonically express the same feelings that I was trying to express in my song. But it's
Yes.
and even though it was different because like you were playing on a different instrument or it's a layer that goes on top of it, um it still was like right there. Like when we wrote Bummers Only. When we wrote
Hmm.
Bummers, that I think is a one of the best examples to me of a song where I was processing kind of what was going on in my life at the time. And then you immediately came back with like the second half. And you were like, I don't know what this song's about, but here you go. And it was exactly what I was trying to process. And I was like,
Yeah.
that was incredible. And then John stepped in and added just like
Yes.
that little extra like, I think it was like it wasn't a guitar. It was
Isn't it
something.
like a clarinet or something?
I
Like,
don't remember. No, it was like I thought it was like
was
I
it?
don't. Danny added the clarinet.
Okay,
Danny
I
was the
remember that.
clarinet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wes added like
Well,
backwards trumpet parts.
I think John
Uh,
Bukovac did some vocal parts on that.
yes,
Is
yeah, he
that,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, he was doing all. He was my harmony, and
Yeah.
like harmonies are consistent with the Bears and the Bees. Like I want everybody singing all the time. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The best.
but it's mostly me and Caitlin. It's always
Hmm.
been mostly me and Caitlin. And for John to come in with a completely different vocal style, and
Hmm.
it to blend so perfectly in that moment. Yeah, it again was just like it's
It's that,
incredible.
yeah.
And it captured that feeling in a bottle, which is what
Right. Yeah.
was
I
incredible.
I think that's the best possible thing a song can be is uh putting into, I don't know, an MP3 or putting into the real world a feeling that someone doesn't understand. And when they lift a feeling that you have and you don't understand, when you listen to it, it makes you understand yourself better, or it makes
Hmm.
you like see something in yourself, or gives you words for something you couldn't articulate, that
Yes.
sort of thing. I think that's the biggest power that music can have. And
Yeah.
it's it's a it's a it's a darn beautiful thing. We
It's a
love
beautiful
music.
thing.
We
We love
love
music.
music. What
That's
can we say?
crazy.
Music is my life. Um, okay, so just I have one other note. This is so one of one of my songs, Grendel or
Yes.
Monster, which yeah, have been a fan of, which always brings me so much joy how much you appreciate that. Um, and I still want someday to for that song to exist somewhere as a
It's
Bears.
on.
Does it
Didn't we put it
exist?
on?
I thought we didn't put it anywhere officially. I
I
don't know
thought
if
we put
we.
it on. I think I put it on Spotify. I could be wrong.
I will have
Maybe
to.
I didn't yet. I mean, I think I have. We have the final bounce of that
I
one.
know we have it somewhere.
I thought
It's
I was planning on putting it up at one point because I love
well,
that recording.
yeah, it's really special. But that I bring that up to say that I'm actually so the reason I wrote that song is because it was for a 12th grade English project where we made a video about
Hmm.
Grendel, which is a book.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to talk to my 12th grade English teacher as part of this, which I'm so psyched to just be like, hey, what you did in that classroom, like, led to me going down this wild route, like, all this
Yeah.
stuff. It was such an influential class for me, and it was really cool. So it's a special song, and it's about Grendel from Beowulf. So
Yeah. Yes, it's about Grendel from Beowulf, but I really liked, that I loved I loved hearing it through how you interpreted it. Um I liked I loved and then like I feel like even though it's about Grendel, um I just got it.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
I spent a lot of time. I feel like I think we've all felt like the monster on the hill,
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
time to time. And, I definitely feel that way a lot. That's, you know, I think a lot about, different kinds of pain that people feel and like the kind of pain that I feel like is like at my core a lot of times is loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
So for when you sang that song, it really like well, I mean just like won't you be my friend is just I don't know,
I'm
it
so
makes that
embarrassed by it,
no,
yeah, no, I
that
understand.
that's
Yeah.
my whole life.
I
That's
know,
like
I
all
know.
my
Yeah.
and that's the thing, that's why everybody's in the Bears and the Bees because
Yeah.
I just want everybody all the time.
Yeah.
And I want to be friends. And I think that it's just one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in my life.
Well, thank you so much. I'll have to either find it or we'll have to release it if it's not released at some point because it's
Yeah.
yeah. And I especially love that is a song where I'm like I'm so happy that it has a life beyond just like the 18-year-old version of me that wrote it,
Yeah.
and like wrote it for. Well, it's funny because I wrote it for that school project and it didn't even end up in the video. Like we had an issue and we
Really?
could, so it was not in the video. But it still like, was it was very much a reflection of my feelings at the time, and a lot of my feelings continue. The loneliness is huge. And that's you know central to a lot of the feelings that I have. Ultimately, when you boil it down, it's like, oh yeah, this is like you're trying to connect with people, and that's the issues
Yeah.
that come up with that.
I'm pretty sure every Bears and the Beast song is somewhat about loneliness.
Yeah.
Like it's about, fear of abandonment, which is at its core loneliness. It's
Hmm.
about, you know, becoming a recluse because it's easier than opening yourself up to be disappointed, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
this is also my sneaky secondary purpose of doing this is to force you to talk to me, and it's it's really nice.
it is
Like,
nice.
well,
It
it's
is nice.
I think it's also cool because like I have a lot of friends. I like know people. I have acquaintances, and I know them, or even closer friends. But it's like I there's things about you that I never knew about the clubhouse. That's so cool. Like it's fun to like learn those little things in this format. So thank you again so much for being part of this.
No, this is
Um,
really nice. I've
yeah,
missed you.
I know we gotta hang out. That's
Yeah.
also we gotta hang out. Is there anything else you want to plug or anything you want to share? Anything?
Oh. I don't do anything anymore. I haven't picked up my guitar in a very long time.
We gotta change that.
Yeah,
We gotta make it
maybe.
happen. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. But no, I just, I love you guys, and I'm really excited. And now that I'm like more aware that it's going on, I'm excited to
hmm
see what comes out of callback,
It's
because
gonna
I'm really looking forward to it.
it,
I'm going to force myself to leave my house for once.
thank
That's the
goodness.
goal
It's
at
gonna be
least.
worth it. I promise you, at the very least, you're gonna get to hear 12 new songs that I wrote. So like,
Yeah, then
that's something.
that's enough for me.
All right, rock and roll. Thanks so much. That does it for this installment of this.